Israel is the only sole non-Muslim country in the West Asia, which is almost surrounded by the Muslim countries from the north, the east and the south, and all the Muslim countries of its neighborhood fought with Israel at least once in the past. Still, many Muslim countries in the region have a mission to wipe out the Israel from this West Asian region, and Iran is one of the among countries. Most of the Muslim countries or Gulf countries have a bitter relation with Israel since the past. But here, we need to understand that most of the energy requirements of India fulfills by these Muslim countries or Gulf countries. India's dependency of crude oil on the Gulf countries helps India to boost its economic engine. Simultaneously, millions of Indians go to these countries in search of jobs, and most of them are unskilled. And they send remittances back to India, which help India to strengthen its foreign reserve. Otherwise, if these unskilled people stayed in India, they will be a burden for the Indian economy, which lead India to lag behind in the list of top world economies. But all of these, India maintains a good relations with these Muslim countries and the Israel as well. Seeing unrest or such disturbances between the Israel and these Muslim countries, most of the politicians, journalists and other big personalities in their respective fields pressurize the Indian government to criticize Israel and support these Muslim countries who fulfill the energy requirements of India, gives jobs to the millions of Indians, and putting pressure on Israel for its offensive attitudes toward Palestinian and other Muslim countries in this region, so that India can be a friend with these countries and maintains a distance from Israel. Here first we will talk about the relation between the two countries in the history. Then we will talk about the reason behind that why India do not criticize Israel and supporting Israel. India got independence in 1947, but till 1950 India did not recognize Israel as a state or country. India's position on the establishment of state of Israel was affected by many factors. These factors are like India got partition on religious lines and India's relationship with other nations. Indian independence leader Mahatma Gandhi believed that the Jews had a good case and a prior claim for Israel, but opposed the creation of Israel on religious or mandated terms. Gandhi believed that the Arabs were the rightful occupants of Palestine and was of the view that Jews should return to their own origin country. Albert Einstein, a German-born theoretical physicist who is widely held as one of the most influential scientists, best known for developing the theory of relativity and the important contribution to quantum mechanics, wrote a 4-page letter to Jawaharlal Nehru on 13 June 1947 to persuade India to support the setting up of a Jewish state. Nehru, however, could not accept Einstein's request and explained his dilemma, stating that national leaders have to unfortunately pursue policies that are essentially selfish, and India voted against the partitioning of Palestine plan of 1947 and voted against Israel's admission to the United Nations in 1949. On the other side, various proponents of Hindu nationalism supported or sympathized with the creation of Israel on both moral and political grounds and condemned and deplored India's support at the United Nations against Israel. Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh leader Mother Sadashiv Golwalkar admired Jewish nationalism and believed Palestine was the natural territory of Jewish people, essential to their aspirations for nationhood. On 17 September 1950, India officially recognized the state of Israel. Following India's recognition of Israel, Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru stated that we would have recognized Israel long ago because Israel is a fact. We refrained because of our desire not to offend the sentiments of our friends in the Arab countries. In 1953, Israel was permitted to open a consulate in Mumbai. From India's recognition of Israel in 1950 to the early 1990s, the relationship remained informal in nature. Israel supported India during the Indo-Pakistan War of 1971. India's opposition to official diplomatic relations with Israel stemmed from both domestic and foreign consideration. Domestically, politicians in India feared of losing the Muslim vote if relations were normalized with Israel. Additionally, India did not want to jeopardize the large amount of its citizens working in Arab states of Persian Gulf who were helping India to maintain its foreign exchange reserve. India's domestic need for energy was another reason for the lack of normalization of ties with Israel in terms of safeguarding the flow of oil from Arab nations. India's foreign policy goals and alliances also proved problematic to former relations with Israel, including India's support for the pro-Palestine Liberation Organization, non-alignment movement, and India's tilt toward the Soviet Union during the Cold War, and India's desire to counter Pakistan influence with the Arab states. On an ideological level, the dominant political party in India during this era, namely the Indian National Congress, opposed Israel due to their perception that it was a state based on religion analogous to Pakistan. Although there was no formal relationship for several decades, but meetings and cooperation took place between both the countries. Israel also provided India with crucial information during its multiple wars. After decades of non-aligned and pro-Arab policy, India formally established relations with Israel when India opened an embassy in Tel Aviv in January 1992. Since its election in 2014, the Modi government has maintained a dehyphenation policy where it keeps its relation with Israel and Palestine independent from each other. India-Israel relationship has been very close and warm under the premiership of Narendra Modi since 2014. In 2017, Narendra Modi was the first ever Prime Minister of India to visit Israel. Now we will talk about the reasons behind India's not criticizing Israel on its ferocious action against Gaza and Palestine-led Hamas. The first is, as soon as the diplomatic relation has been established between the India and Israel, Israel has endorsed the India's position that Kashmir is an integral part of India. This is the reason that India and Israel don't keep referencing Kashmir in their bilateral statements. This is the kind of maturity that they have in their relationship. While on the other side, Pakistan seeks Palestine and other Islamic countries' support to Kashmir against India, and most of them support Pakistan's views on Kashmir. India, being an sovereign and secular country, does not like it, and therefore India does not criticize Israel over these Islamic countries. The second is terrorism. Both India and Israel has become the epicenter for global Islamic terrorism. Israel receives immediately a direct threat from the militant groups such as Hamas, Palestine, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, and many other groups. While India sees a parallel threats with the cross-border terrorism that India has been facing it for decades from Pakistan-sponsored militant groups such as Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, amongst others. To counter these terrorist groups and their activities, cooperation and coordination between the two countries, sharing intelligence between the agency of two countries is very important, and criticizing to one another cannot help to ease out such kind of militant activities. And the third reason is, India and Israel both are surrounded by the Islamic countries, and these countries are influenced by Islamic radicalization. So India has a huge number of Muslim population, and most of them are working in Arab countries. These Indian Muslims can be influenced by these radicalization, which is not good for the sovereignty of India. Neutralizing the effect of such radicalization, Israel is very important for India from the perspective of intelligence sharing, because Israel has a lot experience because of its strategic location in the West Asia, and Israel has an offensive and attacking strategies on Islamic radicalization in the Middle East and West Asia, which will be very helpful for India in eliminating the radicalization in India. The fourth is, during Cold War, Israel, despite being an United States ally, helped India during the Bangladesh Liberation War of 1971, even when United States of America decided to help Pakistan by trying to bomb India using nuclear bombs, along with England, until USSR came to save India, while most of the Muslim countries were supporting Pakistan against India. Number 5 is, after the collapse of USSR in 1991, India was alone without an ally to trust and buy weapons, but Israel went against their strongest ally for India. Reason number 6 is, after the nuclear test of nuclear bombs by India under the code name of Operation Shakti, France and Israel was the only country who did not object India's nuclear test. And the 7th is, in 1999, Israel supported India in Kargil war by providing arms and ammunition. It was a time when Pakistani soldiers suddenly entered Indian territory and captured the bunkers of India. Indian intelligence failed to detect it, and emergency war took place. India needed a lot of weapons and other devices in emergency support, and Israel fulfilled the need. And the number 8 is, whether it is 2008 Mumbai terror attack or Pulwama attack, Israel offers and support India unconditionally. The most important thing is that India procure high-tech advanced military weapons from Israel, which fulfills the requirements of Indian military, which helps strengthening the Indian military and also helps India in balancing out the China and Pakistan both. From this perspective, Israel is an strategic ally for India. Criticizing Israel at this juncture is not possible. The next reason is, beyond defense and security, both the countries have been doing contribution in the field of space science and technology. In 1993, India and Israel signed an agreement on science and technology, which allowed for direct scientific cooperation between both the governments. Specific areas of the cooperation are information technology, biotechnology, lasers, and electro-optics, and many others. They are also working in advanced materials. They have been promoting collaborative research across a wide range of disciplines, including medical and information technology, social and life sciences, humanities, and the arts. Israel also offered to help the India government with the project to clean the Ganga. Israel has a great advantage and expertise in water management to battle the water scarcity, and India is facing severely water scarcity right now, and Israel's expertise in this field can help India to ease this problem out. The next reason is in 2002, India and Israel signed a cooperative agreement promoting space collaboration between both the nations. After that, Israel Space Agency, that is ISA, and India's Space Research Organization, that is ISRO, is using satellites for improved management of land and other resources. In 2005, Israel decided to launch Texar, which is an Israeli reconnaissance satellite, its first synthetic aperture radar imaging satellites on India's PSLV rocket. With the help of this kind of synthetic aperture radar, India became the first country to find the water molecules in the moon, which helped to boost the morals of India's space organization in the world arena. The next reason is India is the most populous country with 140 crore people in the world. Most of the population are dependent on agriculture for their subsistence and primary income sources. To feed its population, agriculture plays an important role here. But now, in this time, climate change is making a negative impact on agriculture and its pattern, which can lead to the food scarcity. So there is a need of technology in agriculture sector, and we know that Israel is technologically advanced in this field. With the help of Israel, India can achieve milestone in this field, and both the countries are working on it. India has chosen Israel as a strategic partner in the field of agriculture, and both the countries signed MOU in the field of agriculture. The partnership aimed to introduce crop diversity, increasing productivity, and increasing water use efficiency. The next reason is because of the future requirements of energy, both the countries cooperating in oil and natural gas sector. And the last but not the least reason is that culturally and tourism perspective, both the countries are interrelating to each other. Interfaith relations also have been established between the two countries. In the nutshell, I would like to say the visibility of Israel on the world map is searchable, but the potential of this country is much bigger than the potential of whole Middle East combined together, be it space, science and technology, military, cyber world, and many others. So criticizing Israel, you can make happy the Muslims or the shrewd politicians for a short period of time, but for the longer period of time, Israel's importance of India is immense, which is the India is doing right now.